Welcome back to the channel. Today's lesson will have us traveling to the ancient city of Israel to reflect on a woman who felt the ache of an empty cradle. Hannah's tears of longing echoed in the temple. Her story is that of profound faith and unwavering trust. It unfolds a testament to the power of perseverance and the audacious trust in God's promises. This is the story of Hannah, a woman whose silent cries and desperate pleas echoed through the halls of the Shiloh sanctuary, ultimately transforming her life and leaving an enduring legacy of hope for generations to come. Before we continue this beautiful story, do well to like, share this video to friends, and subscribe for more beautiful Bible stories like this. Hannah's story begins in a time when barrenness was not merely a biological condition, but a source of deep societal shame and personal anguish. Hannah's life was marred by sorrow and frustration. She was one of two wives to Elkanah, a man from the tribe of Ephraim. While Elkanah's other wife, Peninnah, was blessed with children, Hannah remained barren. As the beloved wife of Elkanah, Hannah endured the sting of her rival Peninnah's constant taunts and the painful reminder of her own inability to bear children. One can imagine what Hannah had to put up with her co-wife, the shame, the constant reminder that her feet were not yet planted in her husband's house. The Bible describes how Peninnah would taunt and provoke Hannah, intensifying her pain and sense of inadequacy. And her rival also provoked her severely to make her miserable because the Lord had closed her womb. 1 Samuel 1:1-6 NKJV. Peninnah, blessed with children, tormented her rival relentlessly. Peninnah's actions weren't just about mocking Hannah's inability to conceive. They were a reflection of her own internal struggles. In today's world, Peninnah's taunts echo in the hurtful comments we encounter from those who feel threatened by our aspirations or pained by our successes. These modern-day Peninnahs may be found among family members, religious friends, or even colleagues who perceive us as competition. Take, for instance, a young woman named Rose, struggling to establish her business, then her friend Fatima, seemingly supportive, but subtly undermines Rose's efforts with backhanded compliments and thinly veiled criticism. Fatima's words, like Peninnah's, are driven by envy and a desire to keep Rose from surpassing her. Or consider Musa, a devout man striving to deepen his faith. His religious friend Abu Bakr belittles Musa's spiritual journey, questioning his sincerity and making him doubt his connection with God. Abu Bakr's actions, like Peninnah's, stem from his own insecurities and a fear of being outshone. These scenarios highlight how the world can taunt us, reminding us of our pain points and making us question our worth and even our faith. Just as Hannah's faith was tested by Peninnah's taunts, we too may find our beliefs challenged when faced with negativity and doubt from those around us. While Peninnah's taunts caused Hannah immense pain, they also fueled her determination to seek solace and strength in God. Through fervent prayer and unwavering faith, Hannah ultimately received the blessing she so desperately desired. Similarly, we can overcome the modern-day Peninnahs in our lives by focusing on our goals, trusting in our abilities, and maintaining our faith. We can choose to surround ourselves with positive influences, seeking support from those who uplift and encourage us. It's important to remember that those who taunt us, like Peninnah, are often grappling with their own insecurities and fears. While their actions are hurtful, we can choose to respond with compassion and understanding. By recognizing the root of their behavior, we can free ourselves from their negativity and focus on our own path. In a world that can be quick to criticize and belittle, it's essential to remember that our worth is not defined by the opinions of others. Just as Hannah rose above Peninnah's taunts to find joy and fulfillment, we too can overcome negativity and achieve our dreams. It is important for us to strive to be a source of positivity and encouragement for those around us who are waiting for one blessing or the other, fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and supported. By choosing kindness over cruelty, we can break the cycle of envy and insecurity, creating a world where everyone can thrive. Hannah's anguish was compounded by the cultural and societal expectations placed upon women to bear children. Barrenness was often viewed as a curse, a sign of divine disfavor. Hannah's desire for a child was not merely a personal longing, but also a reflection of her yearning for God's blessing and acceptance. In the poignant biblical narrative of Hannah, her husband Elkanah emerges as a beacon of unwavering love and support amid adversity. Hannah's inability to bear children, a source of deep sorrow in their culture, could have strained their relationship. However, Elkanah's love for her remained steadfast, untouched by societal expectations or the sting of Peninnah, his other wife's taunts. Elkanah's love was not merely a passive acceptance of Hannah's circumstances. He actively sought to comfort her, recognizing her pain and offering solace. His annual offering of a double portion to Hannah during their pilgrimage to Shiloh was a tangible expression of his affection and a public affirmation of her worth. Elkanah's words to Hannah, "Why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons?" reveal his deep empathy and understanding of her emotional turmoil. He reassures her that his love for her was not contingent on her ability to bear children, emphasizing her intrinsic value as his wife. Beyond words, Elkanah's actions further demonstrated his unwavering support. He did not pressure Hannah to overcome her barrenness, nor did he seek to replace her. Instead, he stood by her, offering a safe haven in a world that often stigmatized childlessness. Elkanah's love for Hannah is a testament to the power of compassion, empathy, and unconditional acceptance. In a society that often equated a woman's worth with her fertility, he chose to see Hannah beyond her barrenness, valuing her for her character, strength, and spirit. His unwavering support not only sustained Hannah through her darkest hours, but also paved the way for her miraculous conception of Samuel, a pivotal figure in Israel's history. Scripture tells us that Elkanah loved Hannah deeply, but her barrenness weighed heavily upon her soul. The ever-supporting love of Elkanah was meant to bring some glimpse of hope to Hannah, but she was not going to sit and do nothing. Year after year, she made the annual pilgrimage to Shiloh, the sacred site where the Ark of the Covenant rested, to offer sacrifices to the Lord. Yet her heart remained burdened by an unfulfilled longing for a child, and she was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. 1 Samuel 1:10. Hannah's silent cries were not merely a plea for a child. They were an outpouring of her soul's deepest desires and a desperate yearning for God's intervention. In the face of Peninnah's relentless mockery, Hannah sought solace in prayer, clinging to the hope that her faithful God would hear her desperate pleas. Hannah's plight also involved Eli, a high priest and a figure of authority. Eli initially exemplifies insensitivity towards her deep sorrow. As Hannah poured out her heart in fervent prayer, weeping uncontrollably before God, Eli hastily judged her, mistaking her emotional distress for drunkenness. This highlights how even those we trust, such as friends and family, can sometimes misunderstand our pain, offering ill-timed judgments rather than empathy. While his story is often overlooked, it serves as a stark reminder and powerful lesson for spiritual leaders in today's Christian world. Eli's life, marked by both devotion and tragic missteps, offers invaluable insights into the complexities of leadership, the dangers of complacency, and the importance of discerning God's voice. Many pastors would have overlooked Hannah, especially if she was a highly respected member of the congregation. It took boldness for Eli to confront Hannah and ask her if she was drunk. How many pastors today can dare ask their highly respected members who fund church projects such a question? Eli's action in this story resonates with the challenges faced by pastors today. The parallels are striking. The danger of enabling sin. Many pastors, like Eli, struggle with confronting and disciplining those under their care, whether it's out of fear of conflict, a desire to maintain peace, or a reluctance to enforce unpopular decisions. The consequences of enabling sin can be devastating for individuals and congregations alike. Despite his failures later on in the Bible, Eli possessed qualities worth emulating. Devotion to God. Eli's genuine love for God and his commitment to serving him should inspire modern pastors to maintain a deep personal relationship with Christ. Spiritual leadership. Eli's role as a high priest and judge demonstrates the importance of pastors taking their spiritual leadership seriously, guiding their congregations with wisdom and integrity. Eli's story serves as a timeless lesson for Christian leaders. It reminds us that even the most devout individuals can falter when they prioritize personal comfort over obedience to God's commands. By learning from Eli's mistakes and emulating his strengths, modern pastors can lead their congregations with greater wisdom, integrity, and faithfulness. Like Eli, spiritual leaders must listen to God's voice above all, confront sin with courage, cultivate accountability, and prioritize family integrity. In doing so, we honor God's call and fulfill our responsibilities as shepherds of his flock. Eli's initial reaction serves as a reminder of the human tendency to jump to conclusions based on appearances. Just as Hannah's tears were misinterpreted, our loved ones may sometimes fail to grasp the depth of our struggles, attributing our behavior to superficial causes. This lack of understanding can leave us feeling isolated and unheard, exacerbating our pain. However, Hannah's story also demonstrates the power of perseverance and open communication. Despite Eli's misjudgment, she did not give up. She continued to pray earnestly, explaining her anguish and making a vow to God. This unwavering faith and clear expression of her needs ultimately led to a change in Eli's perception. He recognized his error, offered her a blessing, and assured her that God would answer her prayers. The transformation in Eli's attitude underscores the importance of not losing hope, even when faced with insensitivity from those closest to us. By persisting in our efforts to communicate our needs and maintaining faith in our own worth, we can often inspire understanding and support, even in those who initially miss the mark. Eli's initial insensitivity towards Hannah's plight mirrors the unfortunate reality that even our trusted circle may sometimes fail to comprehend our struggles. However, Hannah's unwavering faith and open communication led to a positive shift in Eli's perception, reminding us that by not giving up on ourselves or others, we can foster empathy and receive the support we need, even in the face of initial misunderstandings. An audacious vow, a prayer birthed in desperation. Overwhelmed by sorrow, Hannah sought refuge in prayer. During a pilgrimage to the tabernacle at Shiloh, she poured out her heart to God in a desperate plea for a child. Her prayer was not a mere recitation of words, but a profound expression of her deepest desires and fears. The Bible describes her as praying in the bitterness of her soul, her lips moving, but no sound escaping them. So Hannah arose after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli the priest was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord, and she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. 1 Samuel 1:9-10 NKJV. In a moment of profound desperation, Hannah made a vow to God that would forever alter the course of her life and the history of Israel. And she vowed a vow and said, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your servant and remember me and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head." 1 Samuel 1:11. This audacious vow, born out of a heart filled with longing and unwavering faith, marked a turning point in Hannah's story. It was a testament to her complete surrender to God's will and her willingness to sacrifice everything for the fulfillment of her deepest desire. Hannah's prayer was characterized by several key elements. Honesty. She did not hide her pain or pretend to be content. She poured out her anguish before God with raw vulnerability. Humility. Humility, often misunderstood as weakness or subservience, is a virtue that has been extolled in various religious and philosophical traditions throughout history. It is the quality of being unpretentious, modest, and respectful, recognizing one's limitations and acknowledging the contributions of others. In the biblical context, humility is not merely a personality trait, but a spiritual discipline that reflects a deep reverence for God and a recognition of his sovereignty. One of the most poignant examples of humility in the Bible is the story of Hannah, a barren woman who endured years of ridicule and shame. Despite her pain and desperation, Hannah remained faithful to God, pouring out her heart in fervent prayer. Her humility was evident in her unwavering trust in God's timing and her willingness to surrender her desires to his will. 1 Samuel 1:11 Navi captures Hannah's plea, "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head." Hannah's humility was rewarded when God granted her request, blessing her with a son named Samuel, who became a prophet and judge in Israel. Hannah's story demonstrates that humility opens the door to divine favor and blessings. The Bible is replete with examples of individuals who exemplified humility and were rewarded for their virtue. Moses. Despite being raised as a prince of Egypt, Moses displayed remarkable humility when God called him to lead the Israelites out of slavery. His willingness to submit to God's authority and serve his people with meekness made him one of the greatest leaders in history. David. As a young shepherd boy, David humbled himself before God and his elders, even when he was anointed as king. His humility, combined with his unwavering faith, allowed him to overcome Goliath and eventually become a beloved king of Israel. Mary, mother of Jesus. Mary's humble acceptance of God's plan for her life, despite the social stigma and personal sacrifice involved, is a testament to her deep faith and submission to God's will. These examples and countless others in the Bible highlight the transformative power of humility and its profound impact on individuals and communities. In today's world, where technology and information are readily accessible, young people often possess a wealth of knowledge and expertise. While this can be empowering, it can also lead to arrogance and a lack of respect for authority. The prevalence of social media and the constant pursuit of validation can foster a culture of self-promotion and narcissism, making humility a scarce commodity. The dangers of this trend are manifold. Arrogance can blind individuals to their own shortcomings and prevent them from learning and growing. It can strain relationships, alienate colleagues, and hinder collaboration. In the long run, it can lead to isolation, failure, and a loss of meaning and purpose. Cultivating humility is essential for personal growth, healthy relationships, and a fulfilling life. It allows individuals to recognize their dependence on others, learn from their mistakes, and appreciate the contributions of those around them. Humility fosters empathy, compassion, and a willingness to serve others, creating a more harmonious and supportive community. By embracing humility, we not only honor God and His design for our lives, but also unlock the door to greater wisdom, fulfillment, and impact. As C.S. Lewis aptly stated, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. Let us strive to embody this virtue in our daily lives, for it is in humility that we find true greatness. She acknowledged her dependence on God and recognized that the gift of a child was ultimately in His hands. Perseverance. In a world that increasingly values instant gratification and quick fixes, the concept of perseverance seems almost obsolete. A society that thrives on speed and efficiency often views perseverance as an antiquated notion, a relic of a slower, less sophisticated era. Yet the virtue of unwavering determination remains as relevant today as it was in ancient times, a timeless principle woven into the fabric of human existence. Hannah's story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of perseverance. Hannah, a barren woman who longed for a child, faced immense social stigma and personal heartache. Yet she refused to succumb to despair. Instead, she poured out her soul to God in prayer, year after year, demonstrating unwavering faith and tenacity. Her persistence was not in vain. God answered her prayers, blessing her with a son, Samuel, who would become a great prophet and leader of Israel. Hannah's story illustrates the profound truth that perseverance is not merely a passive endurance of suffering, but an active pursuit of a desired goal. It is a continuous effort, a tenacious spirit that refuses to surrender to setbacks or obstacles. The Bible is replete with examples of individuals who persevered through adversity, their unwavering determination ultimately leading to triumph. Job, a man who lost everything he held dear, his family, his wealth, and his health, is a prime example. Despite the unimaginable hardships he faced, Job refused to curse God or abandon his faith. He held fast to his integrity, his perseverance ultimately rewarded with the restoration of his fortunes and a renewed sense of purpose. Joseph, another biblical figure, endured years of slavery and imprisonment, his dreams seemingly shattered. Yet he remained steadfast, his unwavering faith and resilience eventually leading him to become a powerful leader in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. These stories, though rooted in ancient times, resonate deeply with our modern world. The challenges we face today may differ in form, but the underlying principles of perseverance remain unchanged. Whether it's overcoming personal struggles, pursuing professional goals, or fighting for social justice, perseverance is the key to achieving lasting success. In an era where instant gratification is often prioritized over long-term goals, perseverance can seem like a burden, a slow and arduous path. However, it is precisely in these moments of difficulty and doubt that perseverance truly shines. It is the unwavering determination to continue, the refusal to give up that ultimately leads to the fulfillment of our deepest aspirations. The Bible offers numerous verses that encourage and inspire perseverance. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:1-3. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. Romans 5:3-4. These verses remind us that perseverance is not merely a matter of willpower or grit. It is a spiritual discipline, a virtue that is cultivated through faith and trust in God. When we persevere through challenges, we not only achieve our goals, but we also grow in character and deepen our relationship with the divine. Perseverance is not an outdated concept, but a timeless virtue that remains essential for navigating the complexities of modern life. It is the unwavering determination to continue, the refusal to give up that ultimately leads to the fulfillment of our deepest aspirations. By embracing the biblical examples of perseverance and drawing strength from the wisdom of Scripture, we can overcome any obstacle and achieve lasting success. Let us not be swayed by the allure of quick fixes or instant gratification. Instead, let us cultivate the virtue of perseverance, a virtue that is both noble and empowering, a virtue that will enable us to leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. Faith. Despite the circumstances, she clung to the belief that God could and would answer her prayer. Hannah's faith resonates with numerous verses throughout Scripture that emphasize the importance of trust and reliance on God. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Matthew 17:20. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Mark 11:24. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. God heard Hannah's prayers and blessed her with a son, Samuel, who would become a great prophet and leader of Israel. Hannah's response is one of gratitude and faithfulness as she dedicated Samuel back to the Lord, fulfilling the vows she had made. 1 Samuel 1:27-28. Hannah's story is an inspiration for both men and women who seek God's blessings. Here's how we can apply her example in our lives. Like Hannah, pour out your heart to God in prayer, expressing your deepest desires and fears. Trust that He hears you and has a plan for your life. Remember that God's timing is perfect. Be patient and trust that He will answer your prayers in His own way and time. When God answers your prayers, respond with gratitude and offer your blessings back to Him in service and devotion. No matter your circumstances, never lose hope in God's goodness and faithfulness. Cling to His promises and trust that He is working all things together for your good. Hannah's unwavering faith in the face of adversity teaches us the importance of trust, perseverance, and gratitude in our relationship with God. May her faith inspire you to deepen your faith and seek God's blessings with unwavering hope. Hannah's prayer in the Shiloh sanctuary was not a mere recitation of words. It was a raw and emotional outpouring of her heart's deepest anguish. As she continued praying before the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was speaking in her heart. Only her lips moved, and her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli took her to be a drunken woman. 1 Samuel 1:12. The intensity of her silent cries and tear-stained face led the priest Eli to mistakenly believe she was intoxicated. Yet when Hannah explained her plight in her heartfelt prayer, Eli offered a blessing and a prophetic word. Then she answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Do not consider your maidservant a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken until now. 1 Samuel 15:16 NKJV. Upon hearing Hannah's explanation, Eli offered her a blessing and assured her that God would grant her petition. This encounter with the priest served as a catalyst for Hannah's faith. She left the tabernacle with renewed hope and a sense of peace, trusting that God had heard her cries. Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition that you have made to him. 1 Samuel 1:17. These words of comfort and assurance marked a pivotal moment in Hannah's journey. They were a divine affirmation of her faith and a promise that her prayers had been heard. After returning home, Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son, whom she named Samuel, meaning God has heard. This miraculous birth was not merely a personal victory for Hannah. It was a divine testament to the power of prayer and the fulfillment of a sacred vow. Hannah's prayer was answered in a remarkable way. Samuel's birth was not only a personal triumph for Hannah, but also a testament to God's faithfulness and power to fulfill his promises. In fulfillment of her vow to God, Hannah dedicated Samuel to the Lord's service. She brought him to the tabernacle at Shiloh and presented him to Eli, entrusting her precious son to God's care. Hannah's joy knew no bounds, and she poured out her heart in a song of praise and thanksgiving. My heart exults in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth derides my enemies because I rejoice in your salvation. 1 Samuel 2:1. True to her vow, Hannah brought Samuel to Shiloh and presented him to Eli, entrusting her precious son to the service of the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition that I made to him. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is lent to the Lord. 1 Samuel 1:27-28. This act of selfless sacrifice demonstrated the depth of Hannah's faith and her unwavering commitment to God. She willingly relinquished her most cherished gift, trusting that God would use Samuel for his divine purposes. Samuel grew up in the Shiloh sanctuary, serving under Eli's tutelage. He became a prophet and a judge, a beacon of righteousness in a time of spiritual decline. His life and ministry played a pivotal role in the history of Israel, leading to the establishment of the monarchy and the anointing of Saul and David as kings. Hannah's unwavering faith, audacious vow, and sacrificial love for God paved the way for Samuel's extraordinary calling. Her legacy lived on through her son, a testament to the enduring power of prayer and the profound impact of a mother's devotion. Hannah's story is a powerful reminder of several timeless truths. The power of prayer. Hannah's persistent prayers and unwavering faith in God's ability to answer her pleas demonstrate the transformative power of prayer. The importance of perseverance. Hannah's refusal to give up hope, even in the face of adversity and mockery, is a testament to the importance of perseverance in the face of life's challenges. The significance of vows. Hannah's audacious vow to dedicate her son to God's service highlights the significance of making and fulfilling vows, especially when they are rooted in faith and a deep desire to honor God. The role of sacrifice. Hannah's willingness to sacrifice her most precious gift, her son Samuel, for God's service, demonstrates the selfless love and devotion that characterize true faith. The impact of a mother's prayer. Hannah's prayers for Samuel and her unwavering support for his calling as a prophet underscore the profound impact a mother's prayers can have on her children's lives and their destinies. Hannah's story continues to resonate with believers across generations. Her life serves as an enduring source of inspiration for those who are struggling with infertility, facing unanswered prayers, or grappling with feelings of inadequacy and social stigma. Her story also reminds us that prayer is a powerful weapon. It can move mountains, change hearts, and bring about miraculous results. Faith is not blind optimism. It is a confident trust in God's promises, even when circumstances seem bleak. God's timing is perfect. He answers our prayers in His own time and way, often exceeding our expectations. Our struggles have purpose. They can refine our character, strengthen our faith, and prepare us for greater things. God's grace is sufficient. He can turn our mourning into dancing and our ashes into beauty. Hannah's prayer in the New Testament context. While Hannah's story is rooted in the Old Testament, its themes of prayer, faith, and divine providence find resonance in the New Testament as well. Jesus, in his teachings, emphasized the importance of persistent prayer and unwavering faith. He encouraged his followers to ask, and it will be given to you; seek, and you will find; knock, and it will be opened to you. Matthew 7:7. The Apostle Paul in his letters also emphasized the power of prayer and the importance of perseverance and faith. He encouraged believers to pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5:17, and to not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. The story of Hannah is a timeless narrative of faith, perseverance, sacrifice, and the transformative power of prayer. It is a story that continues to inspire and encourage believers across generations, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, God hears our cries and is faithful to fulfill his promises. As we reflect on Hannah's journey, may we be inspired to deepen our own prayer lives, to persevere in the face of adversity, to honor our vows to God, and to offer our lives as living sacrifices in his service. May we also remember the profound impact of a mother's prayers and strive to nurture our children in faith, trusting that God will use them for his divine purposes. In the words of the Apostle Paul, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Romans 12:12. May Hannah's story be a beacon of hope and a source of inspiration for all who seek to deepen their relationship with God and experience the transformative power of prayer in their lives. Thanks for watching. Share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones. Let Hannah's story inspire and encourage them to deepen their prayer lives and trust in God's perfect plan for their lives. See you in our next video.